You know what's weird? You guys don't get this catch-22 you've made for me in my life, and I haven't given up yet. I haven't given up on the biosphere, which includes you. You probably wish I would just get a job and flip burgers or drive a taxi or things like that. But do you know I fail at these things by not doing anything wrong and being totally honest and doing it actually a pretty good job, better than the people that train me. So, I realized this quite a long time ago, and I said, well, I think people might think I'm very skilled, but they still kind of want to push me down, including in Canada and other societies. And I don't want to, violate my own human rights like this. So I shot a bit higher. I chose a goal that was pretty unorthodox. I decided to do an intervention with humanity, right? And try to help it, because back then I didn't know enough about HSD to know it was too late. And you know what's been happening for many years is I'm noticing a counter-intervention when you guys, the Homo communia, have feelings or thoughts come up within you, is somehow you believe I'm the one that needs an intervention. So I'm not making much progress in helping. But again, collecting data over time, I had to realize that you can go pretty far in the past with HSD to explain why it was too late when I was born. But, you would think again, okay, well, maybe we'll get them off our case because we kind of don't want to experience these thoughts and feelings. And you would let me save one individual or one biological entity, like one of you, or, or a dog, and or a child. But, you won't even, you know how hard it is now when there's so many millions of people that need even just basic shelter, like I could give them, at some point. And I there's so many barriers that you create for me and each other to do this, to save one child that's, in distress in another country. And you don't realize, again, that it's not a virus ruining your lives. It's a lack of human thinking tools. Your dogs, do you know how much progress I have with your dogs, and you still block your dogs from me? Do you know how many examples I have of this? So again, if you want me off your case, you might want to put me on something else, that is more than just flipping burgers, because whoever hires me to flip burgers is eventually going to feel as alienated from me as I feel from them without me doing anything wrong. And you can videotape the entire experience from beginning to end. So isn't that weird? Don't you guys want to ask yourself these questions? I'm sorry, I don't have a diagnosis that I'm dying right now, so you're kind of still stuck with me, the man from Earth. This sounds grandiose, this sounds arrogant, but again, why am I not having the opportunity to help just one of your dogs? And I've done a lot of research with trying to get into being a veterinarian or assistant or traveling for this purpose in the last few years. Because it's, for me, it would be very therapeutic, and it would be distracting me that I'll give up a little bit more on the intervention to try to save humanity. But do you realize how hard that is and how you're blocking it yourselves? How can I explain it to you in a different way? Give me a second. Well, is what you're doing punishing me for, being a messenger and talking about reality? Because as I defend myself from these attacks that you guys don't realize you do on my life and my right to the pursuit of happiness and self-actualization, is you act as if I'm not competent enough to even work with a dog, let's say. And I'm pretty sure that the videos that I post and the references that I have from the past and the demonstrations I do with you if I just go for a walk and interact with one of your dogs is enough. And yet you block so many things. And that's a punishment. So it's a punishment for lifting the mirror in my videos so you can see who you really are. And again, you suffer from HSD. This is the latest, but it'll be the harshest crash of your proto-civilizations, of all the past ones, and it'll be the most deadly to the biosphere compared to all others in the past that were, not, an asteroid falling to Earth, but something that you created in the crash of your proto-civilizations. So it's kind of weird that I kind of demonstrated enough even years ago that I can help in many ways, either in a grandiose way of humanity or of a nation or a culture or a city or a town or even an employer, either in mental health or education, and that you kind of still block it at the time that you need me the most. So I recently wrote in a MacGruber, which is kind of a micro socio-cybernetic project on the side, as this latest big one that ends tomorrow, which is the third one. The first one was a Valentine's Day one a few years ago, and there was a second one that you guys would go even further over your heads if I even talked about it. But this is the third one, and what it says in that MacGruber one is a prediction that your house of cards, when you interrelate every kind of system, is in about 18 months is going to be. I think most people will admit that it is nightfall time from Isaac Asimov. It is zombie apocalypse time. It is the end game that you have created. You know, you see Thanos in the Marvel as the bad guy, and you don't realize that you're the bad guy because. And I'm not saying Thanos is, the ends justify the means kind of thing, has its limits if you have if you don't kind of keep improving your human thinking tools. But he was culling life for a purpose. You are not just culling life, you are destroying life with no purpose. So it's kind of hard to figure out who the real villain is when you watch, those Avengers movies.